Podcast. I'm your host, E-Rock. If you like this podcast, do me a favor real quick and go to whatever podcast app you listen to this on and give us a rating. It really helps get found in the searches and getting in suggested feeds. I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this episode, Jefe's Airsoft Solutions, SKIRMESH, and TNT Airsoft. Make sure you guys go check out their content, products, and services. I'll have the links to all of those in the description. Thanks for being here. Let's get into the podcast.
Thank you.
Dude, I just saw a gun that you built for Seeker.
Ooh, my Euro, yes.
Bro, that thing is badass looking, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, that was actually part of a trade. I've got the gun I got from him right here.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I'm getting more into Kappas, and we actually just recently got sponsored by El Diablo.
Nice.
And I was like, I can't have a monk, it just felt wrong. So I was like, all right, it's got to go.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
But,
nice. Yeah, that's, he showed me that and said, yeah, I got this from, he's, right. What's your Discord and then what's your Instagram?
So my Discord is the Ryu TTV, and then my Instagram is PAS Ryu or Praetorian Ryu.
Okay. Yeah, he mentioned you and said, actually he called you by your first name, Zander. And
yes,
he goes, yeah, I got this from Zander. I was like, oh, dude, I'm doing a podcast with him like
yeah.
in a couple days. So
oh yeah, nice, I like to get around Nashville.
Yeah, right. Are you? Is that where you're from?
Originally I'm from California. That's where I got my roots in airsoft. First time I ever played airsoft.
No shit. Where at?
Yeah, I'm from Calabasas, but I played at N1 and a little bit of Tac City, but
okay. Me
personally, Tac City wasn't for me because
yeah,
if anyone's ever been there, it's the Wild West out there, and that's just not me.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to a handful of people out in that area that play at those N1 and Tac City and all over there. Hollywood Sport Action or Sports Action or something like that. Yeah.
No, it's definitely fun, but it's a different game. It's like paintball with airsoft guns. And I mean, I came from paintball. I still play time to time, but
nice.
I'm not in it for the toxic drama stuff. I'm in here for it to have fun.
Right. I know I was telling somebody a couple weeks ago or maybe last week or something about like with video games and stuff, if if I start playing a game and it's too hard, I'm not into it. Now I like a challenge, there has to be a balance, but if it's really just way too hard, I'm like, dude, I'm not even having fun anymore. Like, what the fuck? What is the point?
Yeah, that's how I felt about the new COD. I don't know why.
Really?
I couldn't do it.
I can't either, man. Yeah, I can't do it either. For those kind of games, I don't have fun with the multiplayer on. I will on Halo if I have a group of friends to play with. We play on the bigger maps, like kind of like a Battlefield 4 type of feel, but where I can be a support player. But the fast paced team deathmatch and run and gun and shit, I'm just my reflexes are so fucking bad. I do not have fun. So it's not fun when, as soon as you leave spawn, it's just dead.
Yeah.
Dead. So,
yeah.
So you got, so how did you grew up in Cali and then how did you end up in Tennessee?
So my dad actually makes anti-terrorist equipment, and he deals a lot with guns and weapons. And being how California is, they're like, yeah, you either got to shut down shop or you got a GTFO. And our options were Washington, Texas, and here just with permits and everything.
Gotcha.
Washington, my mom could not do the rain because it was every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Texas, it's just too hot for us. So kind of landed on
Gotcha.
Tennessee, and
Okay.
I love it here.
Nice. Yeah, man, it's great to have a handful of countries. I mean, countries, a handful of states in our country that are still like have all the freedom, a lot of the freedoms that we once had, like with especially with
Yes,
guns. I'm in South Carolina, so we're pretty good with that kind of stuff. So they're about to do a, constitutional carry in uh, down here in South Carolina. So
I heard about that. That's in July, right?
yeah, yeah, man,
My dad was talking about that the other day.
nice, hell yeah, yeah. We gotta, it's when it comes to that, the only there's been one thing I've brought up as far, like on these podcasts, about politics, and it's always been the same thing. It's just about gun rights, and I'm like, I'm not
Hmm.
trying to bring politics into the, airsoft podcast, whatever. I'm just saying, if people enjoy playing airsoft from all the different facets of it, right? If you want to like mil sims, speed soft, whatever it is, okay, if you like that stuff, then you have to really make a choice on, you have to protect your gun freedoms because they're
Oh yeah.
related. They are 100% related. We've seen it in other countries. I mean, in Australia, they just banned fucking gel ball, bro, or gel
Hmm.
blasters. So it gets a little weird. And then, of course, Canada with their shit a few months ago. Um, but yeah, that's even if you don't pay attention to anything else in government or whatever, at least know that you're voting for somebody that is going to protect your gun rights, or at least want to, like,
Hmm.
so otherwise you're just, hey, if you can't play airsoft in the next few years because of that kind of shit, then no, hey, fuck, man, that would
Yeah.
suck. Okay, so you guys know it firsthand if with your dad doing what he does and having to move out of state because of the strict rules and stuff, new laws that are coming out.
Oh yeah. And I'm one of the only kids that will tell you that we got to keep gun rights because I like to say it's like heroin. It's only keeping it out of the general public. People with bad intentions, whether it's illegal or not, are still going to get it.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, that's always been the common sense argument, that
Hmm.
people say is like if you can do that, then what, like, why, if it's illegal, why, isn't heroin illegal? Isn't drugs, whatever, certain drugs are illegal? Well, why can't you stop that? Like, it's
Exactly.
really not common sense to think that it's possible, to limit that kind of thing. So yeah, it's yeah, the best thing is, I think the answer, it's not an easy one, but is to create better humans. Okay, so good
Hmm.
parenting and logic and reason and common sense and compassion. Like, be kind, respect. So,
Hmm.
and a lot of those things have gone away over the last handful of years, unfortunately. So yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
now, how old were you when you guys moved to Tennessee?
I was just turning 10 when
Oh
we
shit.
moved here, so we've been here for a good. It's gonna be 7 years this summer, so we've been here a good while.
Yeah.
I'm pretty used to it, but it was definitely a shock coming here. Like in California, it was like 5 minutes to the grocery store,
Yeah.
and we moved, and instantly we're in the middle of nowhere. And
Oh
I
shit.
remember the first time I was like, "All right, we're going to the grocery store,"
Yeah.
and I hop in the car, and like she pulls up the maps, and I see it's 27 minutes away, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die!"
Like, what is going on? That's crazy.
Like even at 9, I just couldn't comprehend it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're young, like, did you have uh did you have a lot of friends at that point when you left, that you missed?
Oh yeah, I was definitely feeling it.
Okay.
But I was a little excited too because me and my dad have always been really close, and my dad actually moved here 3 months before we
Oh,
did to set up shop and get us like partially moved in.
Right.
So I was kind of looking forward to it. And then I got really lucky. My best friend from California, like 2 weeks later, just texted me. He was like, "Hey, like random coincidence, we're moving to Tennessee."
What?
Yeah, so I really lucked out.
Oh, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's good though.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what's weird? It's weird how certain things work out like that. We had when I graduated high school, I went in the military, and while I was in, I met one of my friends, who I'm still friends with today. That was a really long time ago. Well, we're both from different states. I was from Cleveland, Ohio. He's from Bangor, Maine, and ended up in the Marine Corps. Met in when I came back from overseas, I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, California, and I met him there. We worked together for a couple years on a shooting range, and then we got out and we lost contact with each other. Okay, this is back before smartphones, internet, and all that. And and let me tell you something, man. When we wanted to get in touch with like our high school buddies, or as adults, or military buddies that you served with, and you got separated, like you got stationed somewhere else, or you got out, the thing that everyone did was you called their parents. Like you would always memorize their family's phone number, their home phone number, right? The one that hung on the wall and shit. And so we would call. So I'd call his mom, or he'd call my mom. Hey, where's and that's how you got in touch with people way back then, before all the smart stuff. And so anyway, well then we lost contact. I got out in '94, or 94. So long time ago, and then we lost contact for until the year that I moved here, which was 2007. Okay, never heard from each other. It's not like we're guys. We're not going to write letters
Mm-hmm.
to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we don't do that. Um, and we might have talked on the phone like a couple times. Actually, we had a reunion the year before I moved here, so 2006. Well, anyway, for a bunch of guys we worked with on the shooting range. So I saw him then. Well, then a year later, I moved here. Me and my wife moved down here to South Carolina, brought our kids down here because my wife's parents lived down here for like 30 years. So I posted something on Facebook, like the first few months that I had been on Facebook. It was brand new, and not everyone had it at the time. So my buddy contacts me. He's like, "Where are you at? Because that looks really familiar." I took a picture of somewhere we were at with the kids in our local city here, and he's like, "Dude, I live like 10 minutes from there." And this is the guy I was in California with. It was so crazy that we both ended up here. But he was when he got out, he went back to Maine. He met a girl that was from here. They got married and they moved down here. So totally random that we ended up in the same spot, and we still hang out today. 15 years
That's
later,
wild.
he lives 10 minutes away. We get together. I was just over his house like 3 weekends ago, drinking and watching one of the hockey games, playoff games. So it's pretty wild how some of that works out sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. So you guys, your buddy that moved down there to Tennessee, is he fairly close?
About like 15-ish minutes away, so
Oh,
just right
dude,
down the street.
that's awesome. Hell yeah. Okay. That
Oh
probably
yeah.
helped.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's crazy too, because this friend, he's probably like his dad is banking, and he moves so much. Like,
Hmm.
and he's 16, and he's probably lived in 20-ish different states, like
Whoa.
everywhere.
That's wild.
It was
Okay.
like every 6 months. Like he was actually in South Carolina like 4 different times,
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
but they've settled down and they're still here. They're planning for staying at least another 2 years, but
Gotcha.
it was
Okay.
kind of crazy how that worked out.
Right. Now, when you started playing airsoft, how did you get into it? Who told you about it? One of your friends
Actually,
took you?
it was that same friend.
The same guy.
He was like, hey, like I've been watching YouTube. He found the Speed QB channel through Demo, and
Oh,
he was like,
nice.
hey, let's go try this. And we went to our a field like 5 minutes from his house called CartCon. I don't know if
Oh, I've
any of the
heard of it.
Nashville guys have brought it up, but it's like
Mm-mm.
this outdoor mill sim. And I'll be honest, I went with him because he was my best friend. I hated it. I hated it so much.
Really?
But he dragged me there every single weekend. And then 2 months in, um, we went to Nashville, and like we were just using like not great guns, and we went to Nashville, and I loved it. Like it was a completely different game. I met this ref Sid, and he's like one of my best friends now. Like I'm going to Shot Zone with him this weekend,
Okay. Okay.
but I met him, and he's like asking me about my gun. I'm just like completely bullshitting because I have no clue what it is. Like I did not care about airsoft.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Come on!" He took me under his wing, and I loved it. And I
Nice.
went home that night, and I started looking, and I wanted to get I wanted to get a good gun. I wanted to invest in airsoft, and
Yeah.
I went to my dad. I talked to him because my dad came from paintball. He wanted me to play paintball, and I went to tell him I was like, "Look, I'm not doing paintball. I'm gonna play airsoft." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's fine. I know the owner of E-Vike." And I was like, "What?"
Really?
I
Uh,
found out he grew up 2 doors down from Jordan,
oh
the
my
owner of
gosh.
E-Vike. So he talked to his buddy, and I got a Sig, which I still have to this day. And my best friend got a Crytac, and we both got Polar Stars. And Sid, same ref, came in the shop on the day that just the shop was open. He came in. He was like, "All right, I'll help you guys install it," and we just took off from there.
Yeah. Dude, that's wild.
But
So how was it going from this like cheaper, what was it? What'd you have, an AEG or something? Or were you
I
using a
had
pistol?
yes, I had an FNX 45,
Okay.
and my best friend had a G&G. Oh, I want to say it was a combat machine,
Okay.
but
Those
it
aren't
was
too
an old
bad.
one. No, a
So how
combat
was it
machines.
going from, yeah,
Oh,
how
it
was it going
was
from that to the Polish Stars?
it was a different game. Like I was like, man, like this is actually like really enjoyable. And
Mm-hmm.
I went from like being dragged there to like begging my mom to take me 2, 3 times a week. And she
Wow.
wasn't too happy because we live like an hour from Nashville.
Right.
But I was there, I kept grinding, and then I actually joined Sid's Speed QB team. And
Oh, nice.
I was just enchanted. Like that's all I could do, all I could think about was airsoft. And this was about a year and a half ago. And anytime I wasn't at airsoft, I was watching airsoft on YouTube. I was watching tournaments. I was looking strategies how to get better.
Really?
And I just wanted to be on top. I wanted to be on the huge teams. And I was just putting in all my waking hours, just trying to grind this. And I got there, but it took considerable time.
Right. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. Well, the thing is about that is you have to be at the field. It's kind of like people that, really want to get really good at golf. Like like real golf, not putt-putt golf.
Mhm.
They have to go to the golf course. Like it's a very time-consuming process to get better. Same with airsoft. Like you can use tactics at home, basic stuff, you know. Um, but as far as unless you build a similar setup in your backyard, with all the obstacles or structures, you're really not going to be able to practice what you need to practice for speedsoft, like some of the tournament
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
because you don't. It's just you have to be there at the field to start from the wall, run and slide to snake or whatever, like, and crawl over here. And like, it just takes a ton of time. And then I'm sure when you get
What
to the field, you don't have, sometimes you're not, your practice isn't the same every time because you're playing against all these different people all the time.
Oh yeah. And like what I did do is in between games, like I told a ref I left a mag on the field. I had a measuring tape in my back pocket. And I went up there and I measured from the breakout wall to the snake.
No
And
way.
I took tape in my basement and I started snake diving and I do it for like an hour a day
What?
because I wanted to play snake so bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep practicing this. I want to get good, and I'm just gonna go to a top team, like pretend that I know what I'm doing and
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Dude, that is amazing.
So it kind of worked. I worked my way up. I went from Sid's team, which was TNA, to FRA. I was on FRA for a very short time,
Okay.
and
Oh,
then I
so yeah, so I
created my
just
own
talked with
team.
Chris.
Oh yeah, but I was on FRA for a little bit.
Okay.
I created my own team, Tootsies, and I brought on some really good players. And I was out there. I had some of my friends, and we were just grinding constantly. And I was the team captain, but it was hard. I was putting in 150%, and it seemed like nobody else really cared except for my friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? It'll get better. It'll get better. And I did it for about 6 months. And I was like, dude, like, I feel like every game, if I get out, the round's over. And it was stressful and it just wasn't fun anymore. Like,
Right.
we went to SS, and I just remember thinking the entire time, don't get out, don't get out, don't get out. And I played my very heart out, and we did decent.
Yeah.
But it was just rough knowing that, like, the entire team was weighed on my back and my friend Ben's back. And we got back from SS, and me and my friend Ben were like, all right, like, we've given it our all. We've given it 6 months. It's time to jump ship. So Ben went to Elite, and then I hit up Brian or Pumbaa on Praetorian.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me prove myself. I just wanted a chance because I was so desperate.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we're actually down one player for our B team next tournament. Come out. So I go, and I was like, throw me in Snake. I'm the best Snake player. I had never played Snake before. I had no clue what I was doing. But I hopped in Snake.
Yeah.
And I dropped a 5-piece, my first ever game of the tournament.
What?
And I remember looking off the field and just seeing, like, the captains just staring at me. And I was like, this might happen. And we played our hearts out that game, that tournament, and it was just a complete mishmash, and we played second. So I was like, it was good. And the captains were like, all right, we're going to talk. They gave it a bit. It was about a week later, and I was on the team. I played Snake on B team for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, put me on 18, put me on 18, put me on 18. And they're like, we've got holiday squad, because I'm never happy with what I have. I'll admit it. I always want to be the best. I always want better.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Oh, yeah. And then Constantine or Akimbo.
Yeah.
At the time, he actually announced, no hard feelings, we still love him. He's still Praetorian in our eyes. But he moved on to HSA.
HSA. Yeah, you can say it, man. It's okay. He's a traitor. Okay.
Oh yeah, we still love you though.
Yeah.
And,
shout out Akimbo. Dude, this is like the third or something podcast in a row that we're shouting out Akimbo. The dude knows everybody. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a great dude. Well, I've had Pumbaa on here. I've had Houdini, like a handful of these guys out there. I've had Akimbo on twice. So hell yeah, man.
He's just a figure in Nashville. Like, everyone says he's the mascot because everyone knows. The second you walk in, you always hear the European accent. Hey, buddy! It's every time. And he just knows everyone. But he moved on. Funny. And Brian was like, all right, here's your chance. He played Plexi. We're down a Plexi. Give it a shot. And we rocked that tournament. And they remade squads, and I made a squad.
Dude, awesome. Now, how does it feel going from the teams that you've been on and teams you had where, and this is a really common thing, by the way, we're trying to find a full, set, a full team of guys or girls that are as committed as you are, or as
Hmm.
passionate about it, right? So how did it feel going from these other teams to a team that you're like, oh shit, this is how it's supposed to be right here, where everyone is giving cares about it as much as I do, or whatever.
It was the greatest feeling ever, and honestly, I rode that adrenaline for the longest time,
Yeah.
and my mind became altered. Like before that, all I wanted to do was be the top, win every tournament, and then I got up there, and I looked back, and I was like, I don't care about winning anymore. I just want drama free, a chill team, and a team that there's no issues. And Praetorian gave me all of that, and that's why I told him I will forever be grateful for them.
Yeah.
Is I was stressing every single tournament. I was yelling at my players. It was just a mess. And then I came to Praetorian, and the biggest issue we have is like I forgot to charge my tracer. Can I use yours? Like,
Dude, I'm going to tell you though, man. See, this is the liberating part about being on a team that's really cohesive. Okay, being on a team. The reason you felt you really didn't change. You were still the
mm-hmm,
same. You're still competitive at your other teams. You just, like you said earlier, you could feel the pressure was all on you and your buddy, and really nobody else really gave a shit, or maybe they weren't as good or whatever it was, but not anything bad against them. It was just different commitment levels.
mm-hmm.
And when you get on a team that you don't have to pull everybody with you, uh, then you're able to play your best and just have fun. And you're like, oh my
It
god, this is what it's supposed to be like.
it's great too. It's an awesome feeling. Like I'm extremely competitive. I hate losing with a passion.
Yeah,
But
same.
like I found myself looking back. I like we won 2 tournaments ago. We won, and then the next tournament we dropped third. And I was normally I would be beating myself up, and I was like, you know what? Like I don't care. It was a great tournament. We had fun.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, we kind of messed around. We threw people where they don't normally play,
gotcha.
and it was great. Like we tossed a double snake in just to have fun, and like
What? Okay.
yeah, like we normally have like our set, and that's how it is. But we had a couple extra subs, so we're like, all right, like let's just throw something random. If it doesn't work, sub someone else in, and we'll change it up. But that's what we did, and it was awesome.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's cool, man. What a cool feeling though. And I love hearing about you guys when you talk about these teams you get on. And it's more common, what I hear, it's more common this kind of thing happening, like what you went through with finding, a good team or whatever, or going through the process of finding a good team is more common in Speedsoft than it is in like bigger mill sims or whatever.
Hmm.
And so because it's so competitive, I think because it's a lot smaller match, it's 5-on-5 or whatever. Um, and then or some of these 1v1s, I was talking to Kimbo a month ago or whatever, and he was talking about 1v1s. That's actually how I found out about Seeker.
Oh yeah,
And
his next one, his thing is
yeah, dude,
awesome.
right. Because I had you probably know Cujo if
Oh
you've
yeah,
done. So
yes.
I had Cujo on like last year, like a long time ago, and then I just recently heard his name again because of the X1 1v1 stuff. So, but yeah, it's I think the competitive part for Speedsoft is a lot more like the teams are a lot closer knit.
Hmm.
As opposed to like the bigger mill sims. Like the mill sims we went to last year, were 700 people was at one of them. There was 500 at the next one. So you have individual teams that play, but the competitive. I mean, they're running hard. It's not like they don't try as hard, but I feel like it's not like a tournament. You know what I mean? It's different than
Hmm.
Speedsoft for sure. But yeah, that's cool, man. Now, have you ever played like outdoor
I
field
have.
stuff?
It's not really my thing, just
Yeah.
because um I know it's like a petty thing, but it's got a sour taste in my mouth because
Mm,
I mean I'm a speed softer at heart. I play like a speed softer even if I'm outdoors,
gotcha.
and I've been kicked out of the local outdoor field so many times just for playing like a speed softer. They're like, he's ruining the milsim. Like he's just running around corners. Like he's got no preservation for his own life.
Yeah.
But that's just how I play. Like it's airsoft. We're gonna respawn. So
Yeah, I
why
was gonna
not?
say,
Why not
well,
sweep? Why don't full push a building?
okay, right. Yeah, why hang back and sit back behind a tree for like all day? That's boring.
Yeah, there's actually a clip on YouTube went that got pretty big of my
Uh,
local field CartCon of like these four guys stacking up, and they're like, "All right, your point, your wingman, you watch this left corner, you watch the right corner," and you see me just fly by and just clear the room, and they all look back at each other and they're like, "What is he on?" Because it's all like full blown milsim, and I'm out here wearing, I think I was wearing bright pink
yeah.
too, just for the memes.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
now that I think about it, yes, I was wearing bright pink, and it's just such a hilarious clip because they're all prepping to go shoot two people, and I like calling it kamikaze because that's what I do. Like most of the time, I'm like, I know I'm gonna die, but I mean, it's fun. I love the adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie,
Yeah. I'm
and I
actually
mean,
looking at the CartCon YouTube thing, or searching it. I wanted to see what. Do you remember what the name of the video is? I'd love to see it.
honestly, I do not. I can try looking for it. I remember seeing it like a year ago. Like
Yeah.
my best friend, I was over at his house, and I was downstairs with his mom, and I just hear him like bust out laughing, and he's like, "Xander, get up here, come look at this," and he's like, "That's your mask, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yep, that's me," because I've got a very distinct mask. Actually, I have it right over here. I'll
Yeah.
show
Let
you
me
real
see it.
quick. But I have custom rogue mask, and it says Ryu, so there's no mistaking that it's me.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So you got that from
And
Rogue Customs?
I did. Rogue did that for me almost a year ago in August of last year, and
Okay.
he told me he hated making it, but I mean, it came out great. And
Hold it up. Hold it up again. Get it close to the camera so we can see the detail.
but
Okay. Oh, that's awesome.
I
Why did he
just
hate making
wanted
it?
it's just like very detailed with the scales, and
Yeah,
I
it
said I
is.
wanted it to look like a dragon's face,
Right.
and so that's what he went for. We went through quite a few iterations just because it was hard conveying it, and I was like, all right, let's do scales. And he's
Right.
like, yeah, that should be doable. It ended up taking him a considerable amount of hours, but I mean, it came out great, and I've had so
Shout
many
out Rogue.
people. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh, I've had so many people say like, oh, like I want to get that, and one of the SG dudes, Shane, he was like, yeah, I reached out to him, and he's like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. Like, I'm not even repainting his. Like that was hell going through that.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
I love it though because it's unique, you know.
Right. Yeah, I had him on the podcast as well, and he was talking about with some of those like that, the scale stuff, whatever. He he was getting so behind on some of this stuff. It was taking so long that intricate, little tiny details. He was having his wife, help out, and um, he was like, "Yeah, man, some of these are so they take a while. They take a minute."
Hmm.
That's cool. So that's yeah, that looks pretty cool. I love
Thank you.
the color scheme on it because it looks like a pearlescent, almost kind of like
Oh
a
yeah, I
sheen where
wanted
it's
like
like,
a chameleon.
yeah, right.
But
Changes with the light.
This episode is sponsored by SKIRMESH, the future of airsoft gameplay management. Are you ready to take airsoft to the next level? SKIRMESH's innovative gameplay management solution tracks your every move, helping you dominate the field and achieve your full potential. Capture objectives, detonate targets, medic and more at skirmish-enabled fields. We track every action so you don't have to. Review, replay past games action by action and follow your progress in national rankings. Phones are not required. Get connected with the only system that tracks your airsoft progress. If you want to find out more, check out episode 157 where I talk with the owner of SKIRMESH about how it started and how it works. Visit skirmesh.net to check it out and watch games across the nation. Are you looking for a company that puts the community first? Look no further than Jefe's AirsoftSolutions.com. Their founding principle is to offer a way for players of all types to get the greatest experience possible. Their passion is to make a difference in the airsoft community and serve each of their customers with the utmost respect. Be part of the conversation by joining hundreds of fellow airsofters in their Discord server. Here you can find out about upcoming events, sales, giveaways, and more. Don't wait any longer. Join today and start enjoying all that Jefe's Airsoft Solutions has to offer. Together we can make a difference in the community. Are you tired of the same old, impersonal airsoft experience? Looking for a place that feels like home? Look no further than TNT Airsoft, where we treat you like family. At TNT Airsoft, we're not just another airsoft field. We're a family-run business that knows how to make your airsoft experience truly unforgettable. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a first-time player, our dedicated staff is here to ensure you have a blast. From the moment you step onto our field, you'll feel the warmth and camaraderie that only a family-run business can provide. And the best part? Our community is like no other. You'll make lifelong friends who share the same passion for airsoft as you do. TNT Airsoft isn't just a place to play and shop. It's a place where memories are made, where bonds are formed, and where you become part of our extended family, so don't settle for an average airsoft experience. Join the TNT Airsoft family today and discover a whole new level of excitement, camaraderie, and fun. Check us out online at tntairsoft.net.
Sorry, my brother's having an emergency.
So you have a younger brother or older brother?
I have a younger brother. I'm the oldest of 5.
Oh shit! Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. My wife and I have 5 kids. Okay.
All right. It's a mini circus, but
right.
It's fun.
Now, how old's the youngest?
The youngest is almost 3. He turns 3 tomorrow, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys are busy for sure at that
Oh
house.
yeah, there's always something happening, and of course my mom was like, "I'm bored. Let's get a puppy." So we got a puppy over the weekend too. So it's extra
5
lively.
kids. She's like, "I'm bored." Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Now we've got 3 dogs, 3 cats, chickens, chameleons, fish. We've got it all.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, my when my kids were little, we were living here in South Carolina. We'd already moved, and they, of course, they wanted pets. Every year the pet thing would come up, like, "Oh, can we get this and can we get that?" They come home from school and my friend has a parakeet. Can we get it? No freaking birds. Okay, no, they're too loud and they suck. And my wife and I, we love animals, but with 5 kids running around, we didn't want crazy amount of pets. So we got him a dog originally, and then a little puppy, and then let's see, I'm trying to think. We've had 2 dogs, a cat, a turtles, fish, hamsters, and like guinea pig kind of thing or something. I don't know. My daughter had, but listen, man, my son, that had the turtles. He had a turtle. I think he got it from his friend, but anyway, I can't remember if it died or if he gave it back to a friend or something like that. But he wanted his own turtles. So, no kidding, man. I found these this is years ago, but I found these turtles on Amazon. I'm like, because I was looking up turtle tanks, and the glass tank, and it comes up as one of these suggested things. It's like, buy a turtle on Amazon. I'm like, oh, it's probably like one of those little fake ones. So I ordered it for him because I thought, okay, if it's, I didn't know what it was. I'm reading description. It didn't say live turtles, but I thought, and they were real tiny. And I thought, okay, I'll just put them in there for like, decoration or something. If, I was just buying all this, like the blue stones that go on the bottom and all that shit. So this box comes in the mail. It's like this tiny. Okay. I open it up and there's a bunch of like, paper straw, like confetti stuff in there. And I'm like, what the hell? It's light as hell. There's 3 live real turtles this tiny in there. And I'm pulling this paper. I'm like, what the hell? And, it was a little colder. So, they're reptiles. So, they they're cold blooded. So they're not moving. I mean, they're stuck in here, like just the little shells. It's like, holy shit, dude. We put them in the tank. They got heated up and they were real turtles. He had those things for years. They got to be like this big, the regular, whatever kind of turtles those are.
That's crazy. Amazon turtles.
Isn't that wild? It blew my mind, bro. Nobody believed me when I was telling. I was like, my family and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm telling you. I didn't take a video of it. I should have, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's a crazy one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I never guessed. But we now all of our kids are older. Our oldest one is 28. Our youngest one is 21. And so they're all moved out of the house. And now the house is quiet when we come home. Okay. It's kind of nice, but we do miss the chaos too,
Yeah, I'm trying to soak it up because I'm ready to go off to college, but I don't know. It's going to be different.
Yeah. Now, what are you planning on doing? What kind of
So
stuff?
I want to go for law. My dad's always like, there's got to be a lawyer in the family. There's got to be a lawyer. And I was like,
yes.
I mean, I'm the oldest. I argue a lot. I enjoy arguing.
Okay.
And freshman year, I saw a pre-law class and I was like, yeah, it looks cool. I'll buy it. So freshman year, I hop in and it's just this amazing teacher. And I clicked with her like instantly. And like halfway through freshman year, she was like, look, she sat me down. She was like, Zander, please, like, I don't say this often, pursue this. Like, it will be a shame for you to not be a lawyer. And it touched me. And I kind of set myself that this is what I'm going to do. And so now I'm in my second year of being in the class. Tomorrow's actually the last day. But she set me up with a program to intern and help out with the state defense attorney.
What?
Over the summer. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's going to be cool as hell. Get some hands-on experience. Well, she obviously saw something in you that, that, hey, you're going to be good at this if you pursue it.
Yes. Cool. I'm just an argumentative person, which I had to tone down at Airsoft because
I was going to say, how's that work out for you at Airsoft Field?
It's not great. So I really learned when's the appropriate time to shut up. And I like to think that I've mastered it because I haven't gotten in an argument. Don't get me wrong. If someone's getting snappy with me, I'll say something snarky, but
yeah,
I've like to think that I've got it under control.
Nice. Well, that's pretty darn good for a 17-year-old or whatever. Learning that kind of stuff about yourself already.
Oh yeah, I've kind of accepted it because it got me into trouble and it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
I've had grown men wanting to fight me. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'm wrong here.
Oh, that's funny. I remember the first time I pissed off an adult. Me and my friend were like 14. And now, granted, we were doing something we were supposed to do. We snuck into this golf, speaking of golf earlier, but this putt-putt golf arena or area. We didn't go for the putt-putt golf. We just snuck in because behind it was this pond, and we wanted to go fishing back there. And And we had gone fishing there for years growing up together. But then, and there was no golf course there. Then they built this thing and it had fence all around this crap, and we had to go through it to get to the pond, you know? So this guy caught us. I don't know if he's a groundskeeper or what, but uh, to us, he was ancient, okay? Old as hell. He
Hmm.
looked like a leather bag, all right? Like we're like 14. His skin looked like, like a reptile or something. And and he starts yelling at us, and we couldn't understand him. He had a really strong like southern accent, and this is in Cleveland, Ohio. We're not used to that. And we're like, we kept saying what, and he got so mad, was like, "What's the matter, boy? You got shit in your ears?" And was like coming up at us, and we were so scared because this dude's big, and we're like I said, we're like 13, 14, so we just took off and ran. We knew that old bastard wasn't going to catch us. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I've gotten myself into quite a few similar instances, but I do like the fact that I am still a minor. So every time I was like, hit me, come on, I'm a minor. Like,
Yeah.
I dare you. Like, we had some people, I'm not going to name them, but they came down from Georgia to play in a tournament. They were getting all yappy with me because they were just cheating so hard. And
Mm.
one game, this dude ran down the tape, and I was just lighting him up on the way over, and I probably shot him 20-ish times, and the refs finally
Jeez.
pulled him, and he came up after the rounds, and he was getting in my face, yelling at me, and he was like, "You want to go outside? You want to fight?" And I was like, "Hit me! Like, I'm a minor." Like, I set all my stuff down. I was like, "Here, hit me right on the cheek. Like, I dare you." And he was like, "Oh, you're my," and he like backed up and stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely that's a good way to calm somebody down that's an adult. Um, when I was growing up, adults didn't give a shit about that. Nobody sued anybody.
mhm,
Now they wouldn't an adult wouldn't punch somebody in the face, a kid or whatever. They'd probably just I mean the worst we had like something like that was just grab you by the back of your shirt and just, push you out somewhere, throw you down,
mhm,
whatever. But they wouldn't start wailing on you. Most people didn't, man. Like just respect and that kind of thing. It was, and we would never try to yell at an adult just out in public.
yeah,
Now on the airsoft field, that's totally different. Because I'm pretty competitive as well. I would imagine the way I played paintball back in the day was, me and my buddies, we were very competitive. We would
oh,
almost
I know the paintball
we were
too.
so close with each other, and we were almost getting in fights. Okay, so
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I've played West Coast paintball, and that stuff is toxic. So I've learned too, because I'm used to the culture. Get the fuck out! Get out! Just people screaming,
yeah.
"Ref, go pull him! Ref, go pull him!" People punching each other mid game. So
Oh Jesus.
paintball culture is different, but there's never a dull moment.
Now, have you played paintball? Did you try out the mag fed stuff?
I did. It wasn't my thing.
Yeah,
Mainly because I just didn't like everything was so milsim,
right.
and everyone was taking everything seriously, and that's I'm not a serious person.
It's way
And they're
different. It's like it's serious, and then it's
mhm,
more like it's way slower, way
yeah,
slower. Like you have to load the mags, you have to do and I haven't tried those mag fed ones, but just based on real guns and of course compared to what I played, like speedball, and it is just it's everyone moves slower. It's like woods ball, so
yeah,
it's like a mill sim, and they're creeping around, so there's hardly any action compared to playing on a speedball field, where it's like go and then pop, 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 shit's flying everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a
But
couple guys on here. I think they're called the first strike rounds.
yes, first strikes. Oh,
That would
those are
be fun.
something.
Yeah,
Those things hurt too. Like I don't know
that's
if
what I
you've ever
heard.
been shot by one,
No.
but those things suck to get shot by because um when you play, did you use the reusable rounds ever?
No,
Like the rubber ones?
no.
It just felt like straight rubber rounds, and that
Yeah,
stuff hurt. Like
I'm sure.
I remember bleeding through arm pads from one of them. Like
Damn.
I had the HK crash pads on, and it wasn't like the thick padded portion, but
Yeah,
there was still some padding.
right.
And I was like, damn, I'm sweaty. So I just take my arm pads off and just like shake my arms out, and I look, and there's just blood um, dripping down my arm. I was
That
like,
is crazy, bro.
yeah.
No, we had regular back when I played from 94 to 2000 and we could actually this is back when you could still everyone brought their own paint to the field.
Mm-hmm.
And the last I think year or 2 years maybe there some of the fields were starting to force you like you couldn't bring your own paint. And we talked one of the owners was like what's going on with that? Like when did that change? And they're like, well, a bunch of people are starting to change it because these guys are starting to freeze their paintballs and bring them on here, frozen. I was like, what? That's like shooting a marble at somebody, man. That's fucking dangerous. So yeah, they ruined it for everybody. But I got
Mm-hmm.
out. Like our kids were getting to the age where I just got really busy. I was working a lot of overtime and stuff, and our kids were little. And then some of the friends that I had playing with, whatever they moved, and just never had that again until we moved here. Well, actually, I took my son, my oldest son, that's into airsoft. He,
Mm-hmm.
I got him into paintball. He got one of the because I had a Tippmann 98. He ended up getting a spider, I think it's called.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Um,
it.
yeah, and so he had that for quite a while. It was really cool and a really good paint job and everything on it. But and he played a couple times in Ohio before we moved here. And then we came here and we couldn't really find a field to play at. So he sold his gun, years ago, whatever. And then just like 4 years ago, came home with one of his buddies. They were in their early 20s, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to play airsoft." I was like, "What? Like the little Springer things? Like what the hell?" I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything about airsoft at all. And he's like, "No, man." So he showed me all these cool guns and stuff they were getting. The M4s and the all that stuff. They had Crytacs and Chris Vectors and shit like that because they did mostly milsim. So
Uh,
yeah, they had all the gear and all that shit.
I feel like that's how every player starts. Like, even though I didn't like love it, that's all I thought airsoft had to offer. Because like when you think of airsoft, you think like it just gives a stereotype that you're playing with toy guns. So
Right.
at least for me, it got in my head that like milsim was really all there was, and then
Gotcha.
I found Speedsoft, and it just opened a whole new game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone's attracted to something different. And, when you find your thing, you gotta, when you feel that, like, bro, this is it. Okay.
Hmm.
And you stick with it, Like, trust me, bro. The Speedsoft stuff is way less expensive. Okay. Now it can
Oh
be,
yeah.
your guns and stuff will be, your upgrades and whatever. Those can, get really pricey for sure. But at least you don't have to have, the pack and the fucking cami, separate or the specific kind of camo for that event, helmet and all this shit you got to carry in a chest plate or a chest rig or what. I mean, all this stuff. It's and then the tickets for these milsims are I don't know,
They're
like
wild.
200, bro, $300. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my teammates, Josh here, Suck My Cry.
Yeah, suck my cry, bro. I had him on here. He's awesome. Okay,
Yes, and he showed me like he was showing me like the mini maps that they could get up thousands, the
bro,
Cry precision pants where they're like $400 for pants, and he
dude.
just recently joined a team, and they're required. Honestly, I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but they need like a $1,500 plate carrier setup to be on the team.
Dude, what's funny is, and I've told this story a couple times on here, so I'll tell it quick. But for anyone listening to whoever listens to these, but when I had him on, okay, I had Josh on. He's talking about Cry. I didn't even know that brand. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the military way back, old school days. Okay, we didn't know about brands and names of camos. We didn't know that shit. And so he says, yeah, these mini maps, they get, whatever. I'm like, I literally thought when he said that, I'm picturing in my head because I didn't know what it was. Oh yeah, like, okay, he's talking about like some kind of technical tool he uses on the field, like a mini map that you have
Mm-hmm.
for your video game, like in Division or whatever. And I was like, what now? How do you use that? Like, what does it show the map of the field? And he's like, bro, no. It's like a little, and he went and grabbed one and he showed me. I was like, that thing? That little tiny, it's a backpack. He's like, yeah, it's called a mini map. And he tells me all about it, like how they got popular and how this and some of these camos, the specific ones, they're super rare. And I was blown away, dude. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, Josh, what? Holy shit, bro. That's crazy.
He's very good at selling them too, because he was telling me about them, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, I want one. And so I go out and I bought one of the desert camos, and like I bring it home. And my dad actually had one of his buddies over, and his buddy's huge into he collects a lot of military paraphernalia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he had like at the time um he had chest rigs, backpacks used on extremely important missions.
Yeah.
And I show him the mini map, and he's like, "What's that?" And I don't know why I thought he would know what it was. And like they start to get to ask me about it, and I was like, "Yeah, I paid $350." And they both look at me and they're like, "What is wrong with you?"
You're
So
like, no, no, that's a deal. I promise you, that's a good deal on this thing.
yeah, and my dad's like, "Oh, sure it was." Like,
Right.
and he was like, "Ah, you got to get rid of that." And I was like, "I like it." I ended up selling it like a week later, but
Oh shit. Okay.
I can say I owned one now.
Right. There you go. Yeah, it's pretty wild to see all this stuff in these airsoft events going for crazy amounts. Like you said, the pants and stuff. Same thing. We went to this event last year, Milsim. We go to the trailer, and typically in these Milsims they'll have like a store set up. It's like a big trailer. And somebody pulls over there, and they have all their shit. And baseball caps and all kind of different camos and stuff, camo gear and uniform stuff. So they had this whole rack of cami pants, and we're standing there. I just met up with a bunch of guys at this milsim that I have had on the podcast before we went to this milsim, like all from different states. Guy from Pennsylvania, New York, whatever, like Georgia, bunch of people from Tennessee. And so we're standing there talking, and the one guy turns and is like, "Oh shit, they got these different camos in here, for pants." And he pulls it out and looks like $425. He goes, no thanks," and we started looking through all of them, and it was like $350 and up for one pair of pants. Like, dude, not that ain't me. Okay, I just maybe if I had just a shit ton of money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where you're just like bored, like you just okay, just throw it away. But I cannot see myself spending that much on a cami pants.
Oh yeah, it's wild. Like I honestly don't think I could buy it either. Like I just bought some HK pants because my old pair was getting real worn out, and
Yeah.
I struggled. Like I had to talk myself into it multiple times, and I had to get one of my teammates, my homie Munchkin. I was like, all right, we're ordering these together because I was like, man, do I really want to spend $200 on pants? But I mean,
Right.
it's a quality investment. I mean,
Well, especially if you're what do you play? What's your home field? Nashville.
I play at Nashville, and the concrete there is pretty old. It's got a lot of cracks and
I was
stuff.
gonna say, if you're sliding on that stuff, man, that's gonna tear up your gear.
Oh yeah, like it shredded my old pair of pants, and like I
Yeah.
would just go in like joggers on like just like normal days, and I'd come back with like holes and stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm buying like the extra padded ones, like,
Yeah.
and I bought paintball ones because those ones are really really thick because I mean they're made for sliding on turf.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, have you tried like knee pads or anything?
I do. So how I do it is I had the killers, and the killers are great. They slide really far.
Right.
What I struggled with is I'm a front player playing plexi. I'm trying to keep myself concealed,
Yeah.
and you can just hear that just the plastic
Clicking on the, yep.
just tapping. Like I've
Every
had so
time you're
many
moving just a little
situations.
bit. Yeah.
I've had so many situations where I'm sneaking up on someone and they hear the plastic. So now what I do is I run the HK crash pads, which are like the same thing as like the arm pad material, but knee pads. And then
Okay.
I put that on the inside of my pants, which actually was a trick taught to me by my friend Will. He said, put the
Okay.
knee pads under your pants, and now it's silent.
Silent and your pants will wear out on the knees, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the cost or the price of playing or sliding, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, the new pants that I got, they held up very well. I brought them to paintball last weekend too, and I was diving. I soaked in paint, but they held up good and they cleaned up nice.
Yeah, I wish there was a way, man, at these fields. I wish there was a way for them to like just clean off the paint really quickly in between games
Mm-hmm.
from the field and just, oh, it'd be so nice because
Yeah.
that shit is everywhere.
Oh yeah, like the rub. Like it had been a bit since I went, and like I kind of forgot, and I get back and like my dye's covered. Everything is just soaked in a layer of paint.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's wild. Now let me ask you this: and this is something I've asked a handful of people that play Speedsoft, especially like tournaments, indoor stuff, is the shoes. Are you specific about? Do you have a favorite kind of shoe to wear for your
Yes,
tournaments?
yes, I do. So people look at me like I'm absolutely insane, but I'll get to the point that I'm trying to make. I've tried Vans, Converse. They're these shoes that a lot of the players use called the Just So-Sos. I don't know if you've seen like what Slaughter Gang runs.
Uh-uh.
They all run the same exact pair of shoes.
Really?
And tried those Vans. I've even tried NMDs, just as like a breathable,
Yeah.
And I had an old pair of Jordans, and I was like, you know what, that might work. And I brought it, and I loved it just because the grip is insane,
Nice.
and they're basketball shoes, so they hold up decently well. I mean,
Right.
they get, don't get me wrong, they will get destroyed,
Oh yeah.
but I mean, I've had the current pair that I use, had it for about 6 months. It's getting to the end of its life. I've probably got a couple more months out of it,
Yeah.
but the grip has just stayed so consistent. And being that front player and having to stay low, that grip is just so important to me.
Yeah.
And I can get to where I need to go so quickly. Just
Yeah,
the
you're not
rubber
slipping.
on that concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually handles the BBs extremely well, too.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a bigger sole on the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a basketball shoe. So there's a lot of rubber touching the ground. So if your part of your foot is stepping on some BBs, the other parts are still have rubber touching the ground. So you're still good.
Yeah,
That's pretty wild. Okay.
I've had instances too where I ran through a pile of BBs, and I had we like doing these things called choo-choo trains, and we'll get like 10 friends and we just sprint down the entire open play field. And I remember one time I was sprinting down, there's like a puddle of BBs, and I was like, I'll just run through it. I run through, and then I look back like 5 seconds later, and like 7 out of the 10 people are on the ground.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, the shoes are great, and every time it's funny too because everyone's like, "You're wearing Jordans? Like, what's wrong with you?" But I mean, they've worked for me,
Yeah.
and they do their job extremely well.
Dude, the first time I ever bought a pair of Air Jordans was I was just newly stationed at Camp Pendleton. Okay, Edson Range was a shooting range I worked on when I got out there, and I love to play racquetball.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a popular thing back then, where you know how you walk down through neighborhoods and stuff, and there'll be like basketball courts at just at random, like at
Yeah.
parks and elementary schools. Well, they used to have racquetball courts out at parks and random places. Um, not as popular as basketball courts, but anyway, racquetball was way more popular back then. And when I got to Pendleton, Edson Range actually had a racquetball court on there, like two of them right next to each other. They weren't enclosed at the top; they were just really high concrete walls. They're supposed to be enclosed at the top, where the you hit them off there. But I think they were originally supposed to be like handball courts, which is a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I bought a pair of Air Jordans at the mall, and the original Air Jordans, like the white with the red and the black, with him on it.
Yeah.
And it was they were awesome, dude. They were awesome. Like those things lasted a long ass time. They were so well made, and they weren't complete like full high tops. They were the 3/4. Okay,
Yeah. The
and so there
mid.
was, yeah, the mids. Yep. So those lasted so long. I was pretty hard on my shoes. Going running, I was active. I was doing, and so tennis shoes would just wear out pretty quickly for me. And these things lasted for years. I couldn't believe it. But and it's funny because there's a new movie out right now. I just watched it a few nights ago, um, about the history of Nike with Michael Jordan. And getting that contract with him and partnering or whatever, went like the very first time. And that's pretty much what took them, or made them popular back then. So really interesting story on how that shoe came to be. Totally new design, and they created it just for him and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool to watch. But yeah, man, those are great. One of the guys I talked with said he plays in wrestling shoes, and those are really good grippy too.
I can imagine. I actually wrestled for a year, so I can see.
Okay.
And wow, now that I think about it, that might be really good because a lot of the wrestling shoes too, the sole actually comes up to the side of your foot.
Exactly.
So like slide canceling and hip sliding. Wow, that I might have to try that. That's actually a
Pro
really good
tip.
idea.
That one's free, okay? That one's free. Yeah, man. I told this guy when it was actually somebody that played. Oh no, it wasn't in your area. It was at CIA Tampa. Um,
Oh,
I think it was on Obey Airsoft
obey.
team. Yeah.
Was it Smalls?
I don't think I've talked to
Okay.
him. It was shit. They're gonna get pissed. I talked to 3 guys from their team. I think. Uh, don't be mad at me, Obey. Christ, I can't remember. I'm sorry. I've talked to so many people on here, but anyway, yeah, it was one of those guys, and they he said, yeah, he plays with wrestling shoes. I was like, dude, I can understand that. I wrestled for like 4 years, and I could see I loved wrestling shoes. Me and my buddies would wear wrestling shoes to school, like just walking around the halls, even before during wrestling season. They were great. They're comfortable. They're not great for. There's not a whole lot of support. They're not great for long distance walking on hard surface. Your feet will hurt like hell.
Mhm.
But for grippy shit, they're awesome. Plus, they cinch up really tight, all the way up your ankle. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're great for creeping around. Yeah, you'll have to try them out. You have to try them out.
No, that's actually a really good idea. I'll think of it. I think I'm gonna try that as my next airsoft shoes because I rotate around. Like I've said, I've tried a ton of different shoes.
Yeah.
The Jordans have been my favorite so far, but that actually sounds like a good idea. Only thing I'm worried about is I've got flat feet,
Yeah.
so I'm scared that they're gonna hurt me because
It might hurt.
that
I
was
don't know.
that was my
Honestly.
one thing with wrestling is that shit hurt
It does.
because
If you
I
run,
remember.
like
Oh
if
my
you
bad.
had, yeah, if you get punished in practice or even just regular practice, like you got to run in your wrestling shoes around the court or wherever you're,
Mhm.
you know, wherever you have to run, wherever they make you go run, running on like the wood floor or flat floor besides the cushion of the mat, it fucking hurts, man.
But
Because there's
yeah,
not very much in between you and the, you know, your foot and the floor.
yeah. I remember my coach. He loved suicides, like,
Oh God, don't they all?
and he loved them. And anytime, like, you looked at him wrong, 10 suicides, and I remember
Yep.
just getting back from practice and just laying down and just instant, my feet are just aching
Oh
horribly.
yeah. Yes. That is very true. Hell yeah, man. So now you've got so what is your main gun you run now when you play? For
So
like
I've
for
got it
gun.
right here. This I've been through a lot, but believe it or not, I've returned back to the AEG. So this is just
Yeah.
AWA Eve, real simple. It's got Titan, a speed trigger that it's tuned extremely well. I love the way it is right now.
Yeah.
And then I've got 13 to ones, a T236 motor, and I've bet people. I'll go up to someone and I'll be like, I bet you $20. Take this gun. And I'll go up to people with monks, people like crazy. Because I was that kid at one point. I poured 25-ish $100 into a monk. And
Whew.
then my best friend, same friend that got me into airsoft,
Yeah.
is like, let me run your monk. Let me run your monk. Let me run your monk. And I was like, no, don't do it. And I walk out there and he was like, I grabbed your monk. Because like we're at that thing where like, yeah, I told him not to, but like he's my best friend. I'm not really gonna say anything.
Right.
And that game, we're running up and he runs into the snake. Gun goes up over his head. He trips, comes
Oh.
down, and I just hear just this like high pitched squeak. And I just see my gun in like 6 pieces
Oh my God.
and my air tank just spitting air. And I was terrified. At like before I could even be pissed off at him, I dove into the snake because I thought my air tank was gonna explode. And if you've ever seen one of those carbon fiber tanks explode,
No, I haven't.
that flies fragments everywhere.
It's like a grenade, right?
Yeah, it's horrible. Like
Oh my God.
I've seen when I played paintball and the self-serve air, I saw this dude have just carbon fiber shards just all in his hand, and his hand was just covered in blood just because
Jesus.
he blew it up, and it scared the hell out of me. So I dove,
Yeah.
and then like the air runs out, and I get up, and I just look at him, and I was like, "What did I say?" And then Brian was there that day, and he was like, "Here, just take my Eve." And I ran it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this thing is incredible!" Like,
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, it's stock aside from a brushless, a Titan, and a speed trigger." And I was like, "Dude, that's incredible!" Like, and he was like, "Yeah, like I put like 600 ish into it, and it's like one of the best shooting guns."
Holy
And
cow.
so I was like, "All right, I'm building one." So I had 5.5 kappas. I decided I sold a high kappa, and then I bought that Eve. And it made me mad, honestly, because I put so much money into that monk, the same one that went
Hmm.
to Matthew. And I was like, man, like this gun has been like my baby. Like I've done so much. I've spent so many hours servicing, repairing it, and then I get this Eve that is a quarter of the price, never had an issue, and got put together in like 30 minutes, and it shoots absolute lasers. And we went from having one Eve on Praetorian to now I think there's 9.
Holy crap!
Like everyone has Eves, and more trying to get Eves.
First. I didn't know that. Okay, so what is So this is what'd you say it was now?
So it's a KWA E4, and
okay,
it's crazy because
like I've heard of them, I've seen them just randomly in posts and stuff, but I didn't know. Everyone I've talked to that's like the majority of people I've talked with for Speedsoft, especially that play tournaments, is high kappa.
Oh yeah, I love me a high kappa, but I'll stand by it. You're never gonna be able to best a rifle unless it's in Snake. If you get someone with a compact rifle and they know a rifle, they're gonna beat a pistol every time.
Yeah. Dude,
so
that's wild. KWA E4. Okay.
Yeah, and
so now
it's
you
crazy.
guys, so Praetorians have a shit ton of them now.
Yeah, it's under the radar, and it's crazy. The gun is 240, and even stock, the gun is crazy. Like,
that's awesome.
And then when you toss a speed trigger and a Titan in it, it's a different level. Like, I actually had to get the brushless because Huckleberry, his Euro went down. I was like, here, take the Eve. He went so crazy that it fried my motor.
He might have talked about that when I had him on here.
I think he did.
Okay.
And yeah, he's very good at breaking my things. I'm actually the same dude, the broken vice clamp. That was me.
Oh shit.
I still don't know what they did to that regulator.
Yeah.
But that thing was indestructible, and my dad was pissed.
Oh, that's funny. Well, listen, anyone that's listening right now or watching this, if you want to see or if you want to hear what we're talking about or have a reference to what we're talking about, go watch or listen to the episode with Huckleberry. It wasn't that long ago. It was just a few weeks ago. So anyway, go ahead.
It was 243, correct?
I think it was.
I think it was 243. But my dad was pissed. He's like, that's been in my family for like 50 years. And I was like, it's just a regulator. Like, I didn't expect it to be like that. So we took it to Nashville, and he said they blowtorched it, and they got it out. But
oh, dude,
that thing was interesting.
Yeah, for real. Okay. So you got the E4, you got the basketball, the Air Jordans playing with on the field. So you know, pretty unique. And then you got the Rogue Custom Mask. Bro, you're balling on the field, okay?
I'm definitely not your typical Speedsoft player. Like, in my opinion, if you look at like your crazy Speed QB players, you got kids with a monk, chest rig, and a black die. And I go against all of that. I got AEG, I run the Rogue Mask, and I run a bare bones belt. Like, most of the time for tournaments, I run a cummerbund around my waist. Because, I mean, coming from paintball, it taught me stay as small as possible. So that's why I just run small as possible. And chest rigs do a good job at that, but it's just, I can't, it's so weird for me, like, getting, like, real close and staying tight while getting it from the chest rig. So the belts and the Speedsoft ones, those are the ones I use. They're awesome.
Okay.
But I mean, I like to run bare bones, little as possible, and as small margin for error as possible.
Right. So what kind of mags you run?
I run the EPM ones. They're tried and true.
Yep.
They hold the most. And recently, Nashville's been switching it up and playing some more SXL. But generally, it's Speed QB, 1,000 round cap. It's just real easy to carry 4 mags, 3 in the belt, 1 in the gun, and that's easy 1,000.
Yep, that's cool.
And again, just keeping it small.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all you need, man. Especially, was it nice going back or going from the carrying the tank to the AEG?
Oh yeah, it's different. It's funny too because I still hold it like I'm holding a Euro. Just it kind
Gotcha.
of changed me. Like everyone's like, dude, this man's so weird. Because I'll show you. Everyone thinks I'm the weirdest, but I hold it with the gun on my shoulder, resting like this.
Yeah.
Because it now I can't hold it like a normal rifle. It's just even
Well, you
shooting
don't
real
have
steel
to.
now.
Right, I was gonna say
It feels
you
so
don't.
unnatural.
Yeah, you don't have to account for recoil or yeah, you just set it up wherever is comfortable and wherever
Hmm.
you're the smallest profile. Yeah, peek around. Nice. All
But
right. Now, what you said earlier, you were going to go. I know what I was going to ask you. You were going to, you're going to Shot Zone
yes, I'm going.
for
I'm
the 1v1?
bringing. This is actually a 3v3. We're
Okay.
bringing three of the Praetorian members. We're bringing myself, Munchkin, and Cobra, and then we're bringing Sid, which is actually on Slaughter Gang.
Okay. Nice. I haven't
But
talked to either the Cobra or Munchkin from Praetorians. I'll
yeah,
have to get
you
those guys on here.
you should definitely get at least Cobra or Jacob. He's great dude, and he's got a good story too. Like, I mean, he popped in Airsoft. I don't know if you're familiar with Phantoms. You did episode with Hollywood, right?
Yes.
It was a while ago,
Yeah, it was a while ago.
but he popped in with them, and it was crazy because like he started and like immediately he was one of the best players at the field, and it was just crazy because all of them played soccer together,
Okay.
and that athleticism transferred over so quickly.
Right.
And it was just so crazy to see because I was like, yeah, like they played soccer, they run around, but it was just so different. Like they were so good at sliding and getting where they needed to go that it made up for their, I guess, lack of gun skill.
Right.
But they learned that very quickly too.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that. The soccer players for speed soft would be a really good transition, probably because in soccer you have to, they do jog a lot around the
Mm-hmm.
field, but there's a lot, like a ton of times throughout the game where they have to have that explosive from nothing to sprint or from slow jog to sprint. And then, the maneuverability uh, with their feet, and definitely sliding for sure.
And it shows like crazy. Like
Yeah.
because I even asked him, I was like, what's your secret? Like, have you been practicing? He's like, oh, I play soccer, and I was like, damn, because I hate soccer.
You're like, I wrestled, okay.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Hell yeah, man. Dude, that sounds awesome. Yeah, in fact, Seeker was telling me about the 3v3 coming up at Shot Zone.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get back there. Shot Zone, awesome place.
Yeah.
It's just so different, and it's just so fun to play on those inflatable and paintball bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy. Like, first time we ever went was February, and I went up again, Munchkin, and his dad took us. We were there. We were there super late. We were there for like 15 hours, and
Damn.
everyone was pooped. And we're like we don't have it in us to drive back because we still had like a 5 hour drive. So we stayed there, and then we're like, "Come on, let us stay. Like, let's just go play some open play." And his dad's like, "No, we gotta get home. Let's go. I want to be in my own bed."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well,
But
how far of a drive is that for you guys? What, 5 hours or so?
it's a good 5 hours
Mm-hmm.
because we're going from like Franklin area, Tennessee, up to Martinsville, Indiana, which is right
Yeah.
outside Indianapolis. So
Yeah.
It's a good drive, and then with stops, it's stopping for bathroom and gas here and there. It's about 6 hours, but the
Okay.
drive itself is about 5.
Now, you went there in February. I'm trying to think if some of the people I've talked with already, like Ruby, did you meet
Ruby,
Ruby up
yes.
there?
I didn't meet Ruby there, but I
Okay.
have met Ruby before. I've met him at ACS Noob Day. He was there, and
Okay.
I went there with Sid, and I didn't realize, but him and Sid are quite tight, and I was kind of thrown in there, and he was a chill dude. We exchanged patches, and I mean, we kind of just hit it off instantly because his kit too is very, very out there.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was drawn to that, even though it's very Milsim centered.
Mm-hmm.
I love the uniqueness, and we kind of hit it off.
Nice. Awesome, man. Well, listen, Rye, it's been Ryu. It's been awesome talking with you, man. I'm glad we finally figured out a time to
Oh
get on
yeah.
here. And I say this all the time with people, and I say it multiple times, I guess, because I want people to know, anyone out there that is considering, like, hey, I'd like to be on this podcast, whatever. I'm very flexible with time, trying to get on here and working
Oh
out a
yeah.
time to get on here. It doesn't always work out the first time. Like what
Hmm.
with me and you, that's a very common thing, to be honest. It's so people have things come up, or maybe if they're in a different time zone, it is it can be difficult to set a time. I don't mind if it takes 10 times to set up a time. Yeah, I really don't. Like, it doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't get angry about it. It's no big deal. Hey, we'll figure it out. Like, bro, we're just sitting here BSing, okay, about your airsoft
Hmm.
stuff. Like, it's not the end of the world if we had to push it out, a couple days or whatever. So, but yeah, we finally got on here, which I was really glad. And I appreciate your time, man.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's fun, and I've been wanting to do it ever since Brian did it. He was like, "Oh yeah, it was great, just going back and forth." And I
Yeah.
know you guys like to game together and stuff. He's like, "Yeah, go hop on there. Like Eric's a great dude."
Yeah, man.
And
I mean, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I love hanging out with these guys.
oh yeah, they're awesome dudes. Like I'll always stand behind them and say like it's so fun hanging out with them because they're all older guys and there's significant age gap between us.
Right.
But it's like I'm hanging out with people my age, like
Sure.
they're just really fun people to be around.
Well, honestly, man, the way you speak, you're very mature for your age. So,
Thank you.
yeah, dude, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You got respect, you got manners, you carry yourself well. Sounds like the way you talk, and yeah,
Thank you.
that kind of
And
thing.
I will say too, it is in part with the Praetorian guys, like because we are held to a high level. Because our thing is no BS. We don't do drama.
Right.
We really only play at Nashville. I mean, we get out SS, we go places like once every couple months, but I mean, we're really at Nashville every weekend. So we really got to carry ourselves.
Right.
And that's really taught me, even just in school, at work, anywhere. It's just, I've mellowed out a lot. Like, I I wouldn't say I was a bad kid, but I was a bit of a delinquent. Like, I'm still banned from Walmart for life. I've got plenty of stories of getting on the roof, racing
Oh
around the
shit.
stores on the carts.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's our favorite thing to do. Is I used to work at a grocery store,
Okay.
and believe it or not, there's a little button on the bottom of those mobility carts
Yeah.
that pops them up to like 10, 15 miles an hour, depending on the brand, just so the
What?
workers can get them around.
You're
And
talking about
so,
the little carts where somebody's like old and decrepit and can't walk,
yeah,
and they got the little red, little tiny little with the wheels, the little tiny
uh
wheels,
huh,
and they sit on there and just like, little
Yep.
granny things with the little, basket in the front. Those things
Hmm.
go like a half a mile an hour.
Yeah. So you can actually get under there, and I'll have my friends, and they're like, "All right, Xander, get it." So I'll reach under there, get all the buttons on, and we'll race each other. And the employees get so pissed because they're like, I'm not supposed to know that, you know?
Oh shit, that's funny, bro.
And that's like our favorite thing to do. But one
Pro tip,
time,
everybody. Okay,
one time,
that's awesome.
my friend Angel, he like pit maneuvered me, and I went straight into a shelf. And you know, like those baby like cereal crackers,
Yeah.
we probably had 250 come down on the floor,
Oh shit.
and manager was not happy. She called the cops. Like,
At least it wasn't. Glass, like glass
oh
bottles or
yeah,
something.
because and that was her final straw. Because we've done some stuff that I don't know if I should say on the podcast in here. Nothing illegal,
Yeah.
but we used to get on the roof and we would take special toys, if you're picking up what I'm putting down,
Okay.
and suction cup them to the top of the skylights. So they would be hanging in the stores. And
Nice.
that was our favorite thing to do. And the manager was not happy about that because, I mean, it's not a great image.
I'm gonna
But
guess here. You're talking about dildos?
we are, yes.
Okay.
We went and we bought like 10-ish from Amazon.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that worked at Walmart, so we knew how to get on the roof and take off the skylights.
Oh shit.
And I don't know if you ever noticed, but like the skylights on the roof, they're like the bubble looking things.
Uh-huh.
We'd open them up, get the suction cup one, stick them to the inside,
Oh shit.
and just have them hang there, and they'd stay too. So they'd have to send people up on the roof to get them down.
Oh my god, that's funny, dude.
So yeah, we're not allowed back in Walmart anymore.
Well, listen, that's very similar to, so we used to do pranks at our high school.
Hmm.
And when I was growing up, like high schoolers, that's what we did. It was a common thing. As long as it wasn't like destroying property or anything or steal anything and nobody's getting hurt, like they didn't even call the cops, okay? They just have somebody come out and clean that shit up. But me and my buddies went and we made giant. We got on the roof of the high school, and this is just one time we did this thing, whatever. But we made giant tampons out of string and rolls of toilet paper. Now we TP'd the trees in the front as well, so we brought a whole pack of toilet paper. But we wrapped this whole roll of toilet paper around this big thing of string, and then we hung it down, and we brought food coloring. Okay, and I mean it can't be authentic without red on it, so we poured all this food coloring on it, and then we strung it down in front of the walkway and the main entrance at the school, and hung them, low enough where people could see them when they're walking in, but not low enough, high enough to where nobody could get them. So we duct taped them up there, and so when people came in the next day, that's what they saw. Plus, we bought a box of actual tampons and dipped them in the thing, and the red water, and threw them out on the front sidewalk. So anyway, yeah, very familiar with certain pranks like that.
I gotta ask, did you guys get punished pretty heavily for that? Because
No,
my school's crazy.
No one found out.
My school,
No one found out who it was. See, my group of friends, it was me and two other guys, and we were tight, okay? And nobody fucking talked. Like we didn't care about bragging rights. We just wanted to see the reaction, and we didn't care if somebody knew that it was us. Like we didn't have to get the credit, you know what I mean? So nobody freaking talked. It was great. Yeah.
That's crazy. Man, I wish my school was like that. Like, the senior prank just happened, and like they filmed it all on TikTok. It looked great. Like,
Yeah.
I want to say the school is trashed, but the janitors would have had a bad day. We'll say that. And how our school is for the senior prank, they just give you the keys. You get it all night. I mean, you're expected to clean it up after the school day the next day. But one of the principals decided to show a visit at around like 11 p.m.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And they bought a bunch of sardines.
Ooh.
And they were in the process of spreading them around the hallway.
Yeah.
And he wasn't taking it. He called the cops, and he was like, "This better be gone by the morning, or you guys are going to jail."
Oh, that's horrible. I mean, it's horrible that he called the cops. Like, that's a great prank. I love it.
Yeah, it was hilarious, and like we all saw it on TikTok, and the seniors protested they took pictures of everything.
Yeah.
And they posted like 2,000 pictures all around the school of it.
Oh,
just
shit.
So everyone knew what they did.
What'd they do? Have one of those Polaroids?
No, they just had like digital pictures, and they just printed them and just taped them to every wall in the school. Like,
oh, that's
you
awesome.
could not go 5 feet without seeing one.
Okay.
And so that principal is he got a bit of hate from the students. And sure. I believe he's retiring now. I don't know if it's connected, but he was highly chastised by the entire student body.
I didn't there was one of my principals, you know, in our high school we had like 3,500 students in our high school. There was a principal for each grade, okay? And then there was the main principal.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's how we have too.
Okay. So my individual grade principal, she did not like me for some reason. I was very quiet in school and like in class and stuff because I slept most of my classes. But I played football, I wrestled, shit like that, played baseball. And, so I wasn't like a troublemaker or anything in class. I don't know. It was just one of these things that was weird. She just didn't like me. And, so over a couple years of, cause they start out with you as a freshman and you have the same principal as you go up. Okay. And, so my, senior year, man, she just, I couldn't stand her. And, so one of the other times, the other pranks I did, I snuck in and I welded her door shut. So her office door, and they had to have somebody come in with a cutting torch and cut it open. So now, unfortunately, that one I got caught because the guy that went with me was, he bragged to the football team because we're all on the football team. And so anyway, word got out and I got expelled for half the year. So, and that was like in September when we first started. And so I wasn't able to come back until January. But anyway, yeah, good times with school pranks.
Oh yeah, they're always fun, and I mean they like to punish heavy, but in my eyes, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, Zander, it's been awesome talking with you, man. Thank you so much again. Tell everybody where they can find all your stuff online, your airsoft stuff and whatever.
So on Instagram, it's e.as_Ryu. Our team account is Praetorian Airsoft. I'm really only on Instagram. I do TikTok, which my TikTok is Plexi Reaper, but
oh, nice.
I'm not very active on TikTok. It's just I post clips here and there, but if anyone wants to catch me, Instagram's the place because I've got a bit of a problem. I'm on there for like 4 hours a day, but
you're addicted, okay?
I am, but I like to play it also as an airsoft addiction because 95% of my feed is either airsoft or paintball.
Right. I gotcha. Well, I appreciate you, man. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Good luck this weekend. I know you're going to have a ton of fun out there at Shot Zone. And looking forward to having you on again here in the next, maybe towards the end of the year.
I'd love to come back.
Yeah, it'd be great, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, brother. You have a good night.
Thank you. You too. We'll bring that Shot Zone home win for you.
Yeah, let me know. I'll text you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, have a good
Later,
one.
bro.